What is going on, everybody? It is Fitz and 911 back here with another video. Today I just want to say, first of all, check out this spot. It's called Dorothea Dix Park. If you're in Raleigh, if you're in North Carolina, come check it out. It's very pretty. A lot of people have asked me how I got into the Porsche. I haven't really answered any questions, and I thought I would today with this video. So without further ado, this is how I got my dream car at 22 and how you can too. I knew I wanted a Porsche, right? Like, I knew I wanted a 911 specifically. I didn't know when that was gonna be in my life. Obviously, I did not plan on totaling the R32 to be here, but it is what it is, and I made the best out of a shitty situation. Starting off, I'm just gonna start with a little overview of this car, and then we'll get into how I got it. This is my 2006 911 Carrera S. 997, it has the GT3 Aero, you can see the GT3 deck lid, and then the GT3 front bumper and the GT3 front lip as well. I think it's their cup car lip. It's lowered on Öhlins coilovers, aftermarket sway bars, sway bar end links, tie rods, tie rod ends. It's got an exhaust, it's been tuned, it's been maintained the last 3 years of its life at Eurowise in Charlotte, and that leads us to where I actually got the car. It's on CCW Classics, by the way. Those are a fresh pickup. On the interior, nothing too major. Recaro seats, sussy mats that I've yet to get rid of because I don't want to buy new ones yet. I've tinted it. I've done a little bit of what you've seen here, but not a whole lot. It also came with a Moss Hammer Aero kit, the skirts, and the rear diffuser. For a 997 like this, you can look to pay anywhere from, I'm gonna say like 28 to like 65, 75, 85, depending on what you want to get. For a Carrera S, both manual, hardtop, black interior, low mileage. This car has 38,000 miles on it. I just hit that coming home from Helen, actually, so that was pretty cool. Guards red, GT3 Aero. The guy said he had about $16,000 into the car. Thank God. Thank God. That made my life so much easier as far as what I want to do to it, and just having a good car, really good value off the bat, regardless of if I were to keep it or not. Okay, bro, like early February, I was looking around on Facebook Marketplace. It was probably 2, 3 in the morning, and I was looking at 911s for fun. The R32 insurance settlement was still going on, and I was just bored. I was so ready to have the next thing. Like, obviously, I had a lot of fun with my bike after the R32 died, but like, it was time for my next thing. And I thought I was gonna build the wagon in the first place. Turbo, M50, manual, but I didn't want to rip out the motor and trans and do all this stuff to it as it's running and driving. That is like 6 months to a year's worth of work, right? That I wasn't sure if I wanted to put that much time and money into it. And so I entertained the possibility of getting a 911. So I'm looking 2, 3 in the morning on Facebook Marketplace, and I find the world's shittiest listing photos ever. Like ever, bro. Nothing is in frame. You can kind of see the car, but it had a pretty good description. 38,000 miles, manual, $16,000 into it. A lot of suspension work, it's tuned, it's been maintained, water pump, timing belt, spark plugs, all done at like 28K. So like super solid car from the listing, right? The photos, dog shit, bro. So I decide I like it enough. If y'all remember that black Miata that I had, that's kind of what started it all. I flipped that Miata, and so I had a little bit of cash to work with. I messaged this guy and I was like, yo, can I come look at this thing tomorrow? I will be there at like 2 p.m. and I want to come look at it. This is early February. And I like couldn't sleep at all that night, bro. Woke up early, checked my messages. They were like, yeah, come check it out. We're in Charlotte, you know, right over the border in South Carolina, but Charlotte. I woke up and I took $1,500 in an envelope down to Charlotte. Not sure what I was gonna do with it. I knew that it was gonna be a good deal. It had been listed for 2 days, I believe at the time, maybe 3, including the day that I went down there. Clearly nobody else had seen this yet, otherwise it would have been gone, at least from the initial photos, reading the description and all of that. So I drove 2.5 hours down to Charlotte from Raleigh, and I get to this guy's work. He does construction for a living, it's a construction company. And you walk out into the back bay and there's a boat to the right, and there's a GT4 to the left, and then there's, voila, there's this car sitting at the other end of the big bay. And dude, so gorgeous, so underappreciated in the ad. Like, the ad photos were absolute dog shit, like I said, and you get there in person, it's fucking like, I'd argue to say flawless. Now, it's something I do want to mention. This car is a rebuild title, so it's not a clean title, but at the same time, it's not a salvage title. Had front end damage, messed up some of the AC lines, the front bumper, some supporting things behind the bumper, but no frame damage. It was also repaired to spec with all the receipts, and that was from the very first owner. So I figured, okay, front end damage, First of all, motor's in the rear. Everything else looks great. His other cars look great. He's had it for 3 years. I knew it was a car that I wanted to do stuff to, drive, and enjoy. You know, as much as I would like to get a low mileage, super clean stock car, sure, you're just gonna pay so much more, and like, I felt like I would have been scared to mod it, you know? But rebuilt title, everything was repaired to spec, and it's been a good car for him for the last 3 years. In my book, no reason not to get it. I walk into the bay and this car is sitting over there in the corner. It's so fucking beautiful. We talk for a minute, we walk around it. He's like, okay, like, you wanna drive it? Like, I'll meet you out front. I'll pull it out of the bay. I was like, of course. Bro, I was standing there watching him pull out of the bay and like out in a little cul-de-sac. I have never been nervous to drive a car in my life, right? Like, get in, it's a car, it's cool, it's fun. I was almost shaking when I went to test drive this car. Also, I would like say on the way down there, I was like just overjoyed with like happiness and laughter. Like, this is crazy. First of all, this is fucking crazy. Second of all, I probably can figure out a way to do this, and I would love to bring this thing home. So we get in and we take it around the block, and I am just like shitting myself the whole time, like stupid nervous, trying to ask questions, learn more about the car, but also not total it. It feels so pure in your hands, bro, in the seat. That is the #1 word I can use to describe this car, is pure. Like, shifts, every pedal, the steering. They say this is the last true analog 911, with everything being hydraulic instead of electronic. As far as comfort goes, on that note, it's very comfortable for 2 people. Plenty of room for stuff in the rear and the front. Great fucking car for 2 people. You got 3, you got 4, you get a Panamera. Yes, it has back seats, but like, dude, I couldn't fit in there with all the seats out. Test drive goes great. We get back from the test drive. He had it listed for sub 50. He had just gotten a 700 horsepower Turbo S. They had the GT4 came in, and it was time to get rid of the Carrera S. If you remember earlier, I had taken $1,500 cash that I had in profit from flipping the Miata. I took it down there. I laid out the situation for him. I said, listen, I'm waiting for insurance to pay me out. That should be about half. Will you give me 30 days to come up with the other half? I have $1,500 non-refundable deposit. If it doesn't work, you keep the money, SOL on my part. But I will give $1,500 right now, you know, to give me 30 days to come up with all the money, literally all the money. That was a very stressful next 30 days, bro. It felt really good, but at the same time, it was absolutely terrifying. To be clear, I paid sub 45 for this car. And my thought was, A, I can immediately sell it for more than I got it for. B, if I wanted to hang on to it and sell it down the road, I absolutely could. I could daily this thing for 3 years, bro. Think about that. Put 36,000 miles on it. It'll have like 75,000 miles, and that's still like a relatively low mile 911. 911 guys are super cool. They push you to like drive your shit and like enjoy it. So people always post their mileage in forums and stuff. You'll see 140, 180, 130, you know, they're just out dogging on their shit, which is awesome. Over the next 30 days, bro, I had to make sure the insurance payout was gonna happen. It hadn't happened for 5 months. I sold the truck, I sold the Harley, got rid of that payment. I got a small loan. I got a personal loan for $3,500, which the payments worked out to be like $90 a month. So as soon as I start work, like, I'm just gonna bang that out. It'll be fully paid for. I sold the camper top for a couple $100. I sold any of the remaining car parts I had from the last car, my seat, my steering wheel, mass airflow sensor, my stock parts, shift knob. So I had a lot of parts from the last car that I had to get rid of. I just flipped that Miata, so that was a good down payment on the car, $1,500, and the rest of the money from the flip, the money I used to initially buy the Miata and the profit, all went to 911. Fought with insurance over those 30 days to get as much as possible. They budged a little bit, but to this day, we're still fighting for more on the back end for that car. So I think that'll happen. We have like 3 years to file it, but whatever. Saved, sold everything I could, and beyond everything I had sold and the loan, I had savings. I would say genuinely that is one of the most helpful things in my life. A, the ability to save, but B, the skill of saving. When I tell y'all I just don't buy shit, I just fucking squirrel away, just absolutely mac it away. You do that over a period of a couple years. People have always wondered, how do you just get wheels? How do you just get a Miata flip? It's like, well, if you save, take a little out, flip a car, put it back, save, take a little out, get some wheels, sell the wheels that I had, put the money back, save. Like, there's things you can do so it doesn't deplete. My goal whenever I pull money from my savings is just put it back as fast as possible. plus a little more. Now granted, I get it, you guys probably don't have an R32 to crash, and I wouldn't wish that on anyone to get their next car or the next dream car. Got a loan for the last little bit, sold pretty much everything except the R6 plus the loan to come up with half of the money on that side of things. Insurance was roughly the other half, and so I took out a whole bunch of cash, drove down to Charlotte at the end of the 30 days and picked up a 911. I didn't tell you guys any of this, bro. I didn't want to jinx it. I didn't want it to not happen. That was the longest 30 days of my life. I grabbed Spencer. I said, yo, what are you doing this weekend? Like, you want to go to Charlotte to do something? He was like, fuck yeah, like, let's do it. What are we doing? I'm like, not telling you till tomorrow. So tomorrow comes, he pulls up. He's like, all right, dude, like, let's go. What are we doing? You'll see when you get there. He's like, bro, like, come on. We get there, and he has the same experience of walking in the bay and be like, holy shit, dude, no way, no way. We gather all the stock parts. I drive it home. We stop at Cheats for gas, and fast forward to now, tint, wheels, getting the Fitment dialed in, getting the lip replaced and fixed. It's been a good first 4 or 5 months of ownership. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this car long term, if I'm gonna keep it. I really want to, but if the time comes where I can sell this for a lot more and get a GT3, like, see where I'm going with this? Now, some cars I would like to have next to this may include, but are not limited to, an R35, still an R34 sedan, Panamera or a Cayenne or a Macan. I'm definitely not done with this. Like, I got a long ways to go. It's just lowered on wheels right now. we have a ways to go. Granted, simple is better, but I got a lot of little things to do to this car. So how can you, A, a little luck, B, look frequently and know what you want? 997 or the 996, manual, black interior, 10 would have been cool. You know, GT3 Aero, the wing, know what you want, and then have the savings or at least a plan to get it. Take risks, bro. Fuck it. Fuck it. If I had waited another year to get a 911, never know, might not even, yeah, might not have happened. I definitely wanted to just share that story with you guys. If you have any questions about 911s, getting into a 911, how you can do it, tips on how to save, like, I don't know. If you guys want to know anything, please be sure to let me know down in the comments below. I'd like to thank you guys so much for watching. It's been Fitz Miller and 911 back here with another video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.